Hi all. Was it ever in any doubt? Was it? Really? Was you worried? No, of course not. Why would we worry? Listen, when you go 2-0 down and you're looking for someone to come in and battle for you to bring you back to where you really need to be, who else you gonna bring on? Who else you gonna bring on? It's obvious, right? It's obvious. Christian Eriksen. Why would you not bring that guy on? Come on. No, seriously. 2-0 down in 19 minutes. That wasn't good, was it? Let's be fair. And the tactical genius that is Jose Mourinho decided that Christian Eriksen was going to be the man to make the difference. I gotta be honest. I was sweating. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why would you bring that guy on when he's had absolutely no fight in him at all? Not for the last, well, certainly for the last 3 months since we started this season. He hasn't looked half the player that we know he can be, and he's certainly not the sort of guy you're looking to really battle through and drag you back into a game. But then maybe Jose's sending out a message. Maybe he's sending a message to Christian Eriksen. Maybe that's his tactic. You're telling me, Mr. Eriksen, that you're part of the group. You're up for the fight. You're committed to Tottenham. That's what you're telling me. So, when I really need you to dig me out of a hole, I'm going to put you in. And let's see how you perform. Maybe that's the message he's sending to Mr. Eriksen. Who knows? So, ultimately, just finishing off on the Christian Eriksen situation, he did put in a great cross that assisted Harry Kane get a goal. So, you know, yeah, he contributed. Absolutely. Did he change the game? Was he the one that actually made the difference? I don't think so. So I'll hold off on the Jose Mourinho arse kissing bit on that, and say great result in the end. I do think that Jose has got us playing a little bit quicker. I do think he's got us playing with a little bit more heart and a little bit more belief. We are obviously getting the new manager bump, which most teams get, which is great and expected. So long may it continue. But ultimately, the turning point in that game, to be absolutely clear, was when the Olympiacos defender let the ball go under his foot and Dele just had a tap in and tucked it in. Great, absolutely great. You know, I'll take that all day long. And to be fair, Dele had a good game, played really, really well. And it's great to see him being disappointed when he's coming off. But again, Jose's making a decision. Dele's played his part, he's done well. Let's move him on. Let's get some fresh legs in there in midfield and see where that takes us. So, the ultimate aim, right, was qualification. We qualified. We're into the last 16. We've got a game to spare, so the pressure's off when we go to Bayern Munich. And luckily, you know, that's the case, because we don't really want to go to Bayern Munich having to get something, considering what they did to us at home, right? So, you know, fair play. So let's look at it from that point of view, right? When Jose came in, the first task was to get an away win. Get an away win at whatever cost, because that'll break that hoodoo and gets us up the league. The next thing you have to do is get us into the last 16 in the Champions League, because that's where we need to be. That sorts that out. Short term, little wins, that steadies the ship and keeps us on track and instills that little bit of belief. For me though, the biggest impact of Jose Mourinho coming to Tottenham hasn't been the effect on Tottenham, it's been the effect on everybody else. it's been the effect on the Arsenal fans and the West Ham fans and the Chelsea fans and the Man United fans and all these other fans of other clubs. Because what it's actually done all of a sudden is made them sit up and take notice and think, Tottenham ain't going to be easy now. This is going to be tough. And it's putting the fear of Christ into them. I watched West Ham fan TV yesterday on my way home from work, because as you know I've got a long journey back from work each day. So I get a chance to record videos like this and to listen to videos and podcasts as I'm driving. And I have to tell you, to be fair to them, they were very respectful of the result against us. They acknowledged that we have some world-class players, and they actually called out Daniel Levy for having the balls to do what a lot of boards, including their own, wouldn't have the balls to do, and bring in, quote, a world-class manager. As I've said before, I'm not Jose Mourinho's biggest fan, but for me, it's not about what he's doing now that's my issue, because I can't knock his ability to win games and actually turn clubs into winning clubs with a winning mentality. I absolutely believe that he will do that. I'm pretty sure that, you know, in a few months' time we'll be looking at the whole scenario of this season a lot differently than how we have been looking at it. But for me, the issue I have with Jose Mourinho is more about what happens in the future. It's more about what he does in the longer term, in terms of his relationship with players, his relationship with fans, his relationship with the board, and how he behaves within the club. And that's my biggest concern. Will he leave us with a little bit of silverware, but will he rip the guts and the heart out of the club with his antics? Now, all the evidence currently suggests that Jose Mourinho is a different Jose Mourinho. He called it himself, the humble one. Well, you've got to be a bit of a narcissist if you can call yourself a humble person, right? So, Jose for me is what he is. He's never going to change. He can't change your DNA. You are who you are, right? But he's turning out results. It's only two, but it's two important ones. And if I was a Bournemouth fan, and I know quite a few of them, but if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd be a little bit worried about this weekend. I'd be a little bit worried, because ultimately they're going to look at the backlash of the Pochettino soft underbelly of late to the Jose Mourinho bump, the Jose Mourinho steel that we currently have. And they're going to be worried about it. And that for me is the Jose Mourinho effect. The other teams worrying more about you because you've got Jose Mourinho, as opposed to worrying about you as a football club. So it's interesting times, I think. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing how we get on and how things progress and all the rest of it. As I said, you know, in my last video, long live the king. You know, I'll get it right. As I said in my last video, the king is dead, long live the king. So time moves on, clubs move on, teams move on, and we see where it takes us. But last night's game, not a brilliant performance, not even a great performance. It was a good enough performance to win the game. I think, to be fair to Olympiacos, they came with the mentality, we're going to really go for this team, we're really up for this game, we're really going to put everything in, and they did. And their first goal was a really good goal. You know, the guy was given space, he ran across the area, and he let a rocket fly and bang straight in the corner. Gazaniga couldn't do anything but watch it go in, you know. And to be fair, unless you're going to be right close to that player and shutting it off, you know, they're going to be difficult to stop. The second one was really disappointing. because that's another set piece where we get ourselves all in a kerfuddle with each other and don't know who's marking who and picking up who and all the rest of it, and a player plays the ball straight in. It's pretty much what happened at West Ham on Saturday. So I think there's a lot to work on in there, but you know, it's early days under Jose, isn't it? So we've got to give that a little bit of time. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, if over the next sort of couple of weeks we don't see Jan Vertonghen coming back into the fold, because I do think with Jose the one thing he will do is he will go with tried and tested, and I think, you know, he's probably giving Sanchez a bit of time. Let's see how he gets on. You know, he was the one that we were looking at to take over in that position. We've got some contract issues with a couple of those guys, so maybe that's what I need to give it a bit of time and suss him out. But as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't see Vertonghen coming in at the weekend. I think the last two games have been games that he absolutely had to win. And now I think the pressure's off slightly. Not off, if you know what I mean, but now it's a case of, right, okay, let's see where we go from here, because we've secured an away win, that ticks that box. We've secured Champions League last 16, that's ticked that box. Now we can relax slightly and start to think about how we progress, how we move forward, and get a look at some of the other players that he's got in his squad. I thought that he might have a bit of a tinker with it going into this game, bearing in mind it was Olympiacos, but clearly he was right not to. And from a fan's point of view, it's good to see a similar team going out with one change basically due to injury, which is something that we've kind of been moaning about a little bit. We've kind of wanted Poch to do, haven't we? You know, we've said about it long enough. So, you know, it is what we would have wanted. So, yeah, it was good to see that. I think there's still some question marks over Dyer, and I know a lot of fans are calling him out on that, but I don't think that he did anything specifically wrong to get pulled off last night. I think it was just tactically he wanted a little bit more creativity in there, bearing in mind he's got, you know, 4 really good attacking players up there, and with Olympiacos closing us down and harrying us, he probably wanted someone who was a bit more of a baller to go in there and sort of start playing some of those passes that would get us on the front foot, because I don't think he wanted to sit back and cover the back four, because he didn't think that we were going to allow them. He didn't want to allow them the time to keep coming at us. He wanted to get us to go the other way. Sometimes the best form of defence is attack, and I guess that's probably where he was coming from. So I don't think Dyer did anything particularly wrong, but I think he was probably the wrong type of player for that moment, you know. So I wasn't surprised that he went with Dyer in his starting lineup, because you know that he rates him. And as I said again in our last video, I actually think Dyer is a decent player. You know, you've got a decent player in there when he's up to speed and he's up to form, and he's fighting fit. So I think you write him off at his peril. But, you know, it's all about opinions, just my opinion. So yeah, I understand why he went with the same squad, and it kind of makes sense. But it'd be interesting to see what he does this weekend. I think maybe a little bit of tinkering, maybe around the back four. Maybe Jan will come back. Maybe we'll start to see a little bit of young Ryan Sessegnon, which would be great. You know, I'd like to see that. I think Dyer may well come back in, but I think he may come back in with, say, someone like Tungai Ndombele. I think, you know, maybe it's time for him to now come back in and let Jose have a look at him and see how he plays. We don't know what Jose's going to do these days. You know, he's new to us, so we haven't really worked him out yet. Is he going to start looking at players? You know, is he going to start having a bit of a think about it, or is he seeing enough in training to make his mind up? He'd like to think that he'd like to see them, in game, to see what they're all about and to see what they're kind of bringing. But only the next few weeks are going to let us know, right? So it's another good opportunity this weekend. With all due respect to Bournemouth, who I love because of my links to the south, but it's a good game for us. Bournemouth are, well, for want of a better way, a lesser team. So it shouldn't be, and I say shouldn't be, a difficult game for us. It should be one that we can win. Whether we do is another matter, but it's one that we can win. So we'll see. We'll see what his mentality is. Personally, I'll be surprised if we see Christian Eriksen in the team. But as I say, you just never know. But from my perspective as a Tottenham fan, I'm happy. We got another win. 2 wins on the bounce. Into the last 16. That's what's important. See who we get next. And see where the season takes us. But I wouldn't get overexcited about options for the future. I think we take it one game at a time, try to enjoy the good games, because undoubtedly there's going to be some rocky journeys along the way. There always is. So, but we keep the faith, we keep going on, we keep supporting our team, and as I say, up the Spurs.